Most traders don't fail because they lack strategy. They fail because they give equal attention to things that don't deserve equal attention. That's the uncomfortable truth. You think your problem is your entry, so you keep searching for another indicator, another mentor, another secret setup. But let me be honest with you. Your trading is probably broken because your focus is broken. And this is where the 80-20 rule changes everything. Because in trading, 20% of your actions create 80% of your results. And the other 80% of what you do? It's noise, emotional movement, mental entertainment disguised as productivity. Here's what nobody tells you. Most traders spend the majority of their time doing the least important things. They obsess over entries while ignoring discipline. They change strategies every week while repeating the same emotional mistakes every day. They stare at charts for 10 hours but never study themselves. And then they wonder why nothing changes. Think about that. The market rarely destroys traders. Most traders slowly destroy themselves. If that sentence hit you a little, good, because awareness is the beginning of transformation. The 80-20 rule is not just about productivity, it's about identity. It's about realizing that a small number of habits are responsible for most of your growth or most of your pain. And once you identify those habits, your trading starts changing fast, not because the market changed, but because you changed. This is where it changes. Most traders believe improvement comes from learning more, but the truth? Real improvement often comes from removing things, removing impulsive trades, removing revenge trading, removing overanalysis, removing the addiction to constant action, because trading is one of the few professions where doing less often pays more. Read that again. Doing less often pays more. That statement sounds simple, but psychologically, it's hard for most people to accept because human beings naturally associate effort with reward. We think, if I spend more time trading, I should make more money. But the market doesn't reward effort. It rewards precision, a sniper mentality, not a machine gun mentality. Imagine becoming the kind of trader who only needs one clean setup a day instead of forcing 10 random trades out of boredom. Imagine the peace that comes with that. No anxiety, no emotional chaos, no begging the market to save you. Just patience, clarity, execution. That's a different identity, and identity changes everything. Let me give you an example. There was a trader named Daniel. Daniel wasn't lazy. Actually, he worked harder than most traders. He woke up at 5 a.m., watched every YouTube video, bought courses, studied indicators, stayed glued to charts all day. But every month, his account stayed the same, or worse. Why? Because 80% of his energy was going into things that didn't truly move the needle. He thought success came from more information. But one day, he reviewed 100 of his past trades, and something shocked him. Almost all his profits came from the same type of setup. London session, clean break and retest, trend direction aligned with higher time frame. That was it. One setup. But the losses, those came from random emotional trades, late-night boredom trades, revenge trades after losses, trades he forced because he needed money. And suddenly, he realized something powerful. His edge was never the problem. His inability to focus on the important 20% was the problem. That realization changed his trading forever. He stopped trying to trade all day. He stopped forcing action. He narrowed his focus, reduced his setups, started journaling emotions instead of just entries. And slowly, everything changed. Not overnight, but deeply. His stress reduced, his confidence increased, his execution improved, and eventually his profits became more consistent. Because consistency is not built from excitement, it's built from repetition. This is another thing most traders avoid hearing. The market doesn't pay you for being excited. It pays you for being consistent. And consistency is boring. That's why most people never achieve it, because they're addicted to stimulation. New indicators, new strategies, new signals, new market secrets. But disciplined traders understand something deeper. The more emotional the decision, the more expensive it usually becomes. Think about your last bad trade. Was it really a strategy problem? Or was it impatience, fear, greed, the need to recover losses quickly? Be honest with yourself, because self-awareness is a trader's real superpower. If you've felt this, you're not alone. Most traders are not fighting the market. They are fighting themselves. And this is why the 80-20 rule matters psychologically, because it forces you to identify the few behaviors causing most of your destruction. For some traders, it's overtrading. For others, it's moving stop losses. For others, it's refusing to accept losses. And sometimes, one emotional habit is responsible for 80% of your inconsistency. One habit. Imagine changing that one thing. Imagine becoming emotionally stable enough to let your edge play out without interference. That's where freedom starts. Not financial freedom first, mental freedom first. Because a calm trader sees clearer. A desperate trader sees illusions. Let that sink in. A desperate trader sees opportunities everywhere. A disciplined trader sees only the right ones. Massive difference. This is why mature traders often look inactive. Beginners think they're missing opportunities, but experienced traders understand every trade carries emotional cost, and protecting your mind is part of protecting your capital. Here's another reality shift. The best traders are not obsessed with winning. They are obsessed with protecting themselves from emotional damage. That's deep. Because once your emotions become unstable, your decision-making collapses. And most blown accounts don't happen from one bad setup. They happen from emotional spirals. One loss becomes two. Two become revenge trades. Revenge becomes desperation. Desperation becomes account destruction. All because the trader ignored the critical 20%, emotional control. Here's what nobody tells you. A profitable strategy inside an undisciplined mind becomes unprofitable. Read that slowly. You cannot separate psychology from performance. And honestly, that's why some traders stay stuck for years, not because they lack intelligence, but because they refuse to evolve emotionally. They want market mastery without self-mastery. Impossible. The market exposes who you are. If you are impatient in life, you'll likely be impatient in trading. If you constantly seek validation, you'll seek it from trades too. If you struggle with discipline privately, the charts will expose it publicly. Trading is a mirror, and some people spend years trying to fix the reflection instead of fixing themselves. This is why the 80-20 rule is so powerful, because it simplifies the journey. Instead of trying to improve everything, focus on the few things creating the biggest impact. Maybe your biggest improvement comes from taking fewer trades, following one setup only, risking less, journaling emotions daily, sleeping properly before trading, walking away after 2 losses. Simple things, but powerful things. The small disciplines people ignore often create the big results people admire. That's how transformation really happens, quietly, slowly, internally first, and eventually externally. If this message is hitting you right now, I want you to comment this below. Less noise, more discipline. Not for me, for yourself, because sometimes typing a decision makes it more real psychologically. And if you've been silently struggling as a trader, understand this. You are probably closer than you think. Not because success is guaranteed, but because awareness changes direction, and direction changes outcomes. Most traders quit right before clarity arrives. Don't let that be you. Keep refining, keep simplifying, keep becoming more disciplined, because profitable trading is less about becoming smarter and more about becoming calmer. Imagine becoming the kind of trader who no longer panics after losses, who no longer chases the market emotionally, who trusts process over impulse. That version of you exists, but you cannot build that identity through chaos, only through repetition, awareness, and intentional change. This is why the 80-20 rule matters so much, because once you identify the few behaviors that truly matter, you stop wasting energy on everything else. And finally, you begin trading with clarity instead of confusion. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe, not because subscriptions magically change your life, but because the person you are becoming needs constant reminders of discipline, patience, and emotional control. This channel is not about hype, it's about transformation. Slow, real, sustainable transformation. And if you stay on this path long enough, one day you'll look back and realize the breakthrough didn't happen when you found a new strategy. It happened when you finally became a different trader. A calmer trader, a disciplined trader, a patient trader. And that changes everything.